Okay, welcome back to the Don's Trust Hustings 2020. I'm Aaron Paul, with you till like 4:35 o'clock tonight. So get yourself a cuppa, let's sit down and let's get through this. Joining me for this session is Hannah Kitcher. Hannah, can you hear me? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good, crystal clear, crystal clear.
Perfect.
Forgive me, everyone, for my interview style here, especially with hustings, because the last time I worked on a hustings was 2010, and the University of Reading Stenton House Social Secretary hustings. That's exactly what it was. Madness, mad. Um, Hannah, thank you for obviously putting yourself forward again, and thank you for taking the time out to join us. I'm cut straight to the chase with your first line. It's been a huge honour and privilege to serve as a member of the Don's Trust Board for the last 2 years, what has been a pivotal time in the club's history. Those 2 years, sum them up, encapsulate them for me. What have they been like? Give me the range of emotions, the range of feelings, the highs, the lows, the struggles, everything. Tell me about them.
Well, I suppose I'm kind of echoing Luke by saying that it has been subsumed by a focus on the stadium and everything with that. And I actually haven't done, as a board member, haven't been involved heavily in the stadium at all, but sat through a lot of meetings where we've, it's been a matter of discussion. But I would say the highs and lows, I think kind of one of the things that frustrated and surprised me is that a lot of people stand to come onto the board to improve communications. That's always kind of a thing that's top of one of the things that's top of the agenda for a lot of candidates. And I would say I was probably one of them. But one of the frustrating things, and one of the things that makes me that has been throughout the past couple of years, is where our hands are tied as a board, and where there are 10 to 11 of us that have to, we all kind of can't just I can't be going out there and just saying things on behalf of the trust without it kind of being, signed off or anything by everybody else. We are a group representative, essentially. I think that's one of the frustrations, but I think one of the peak or one of the highlights has been obviously getting back to Plough Lane, and seeing as well, another thing I put in my original manifesto was that I wanted to increase Don's Trust membership and make that a bigger part of who the club is. And numbers are increasing. And I've had personally people come up to me and say that they are joining because they or they feel more engaged simply for me being on the board, maybe just because maybe I represent something slightly different, a younger fan or newer fan to the club. And so kind of I'm definitely not an outsider now, I wouldn't say, but a slight outsider view on things. And that's essentially what we've kind of got to capitalize on moving back to Plough Lane, in that there are going to be, and there are new people of the community who are getting involved in the club through DLAG and are getting more aware of the club and what we do. And I was actually amazed. I did a little bit last Saturday to help out on a stall outside Morrison's in Wimbledon. And I was quite because the colours are over, people blue and yellow everywhere all over the stands. I was kind of surprised to hear people come up and talk about the football. And it's just great because we've got more of a visual presence across the town, and it's not just about tackling food poverty, and supporting people through coronavirus. It's really kind of linking that to the club, which is important. And so more people that are around the community and are aware that Plough Lane is there and are more likely to get involved and understand about, kind of the fact that we are a fan-owned club and understand the story a bit more. And so I'd say, yeah, one of the things I'm most proud of is the fact that we are, not that I can stake any claim to DLAG or anything like that, that we are starting to get somewhere in improving our presence as a board and making that a bit clearer to the club and more broadly.
How big is identity within the local community for you?
It's huge. I mean, so my story about kind of coming and following Wimbledon in the first place is that I moved to London from Southampton, where I grew up, and I moved to Tooting, and I was actually playing FIFA and needed to choose a team, and I was like, oh, you know, Wimbledon's basically local. Started playing with the Wimbledon team in like 2015-16 on FIFA, and then was like, actually, it would be quite cool to go and see them in real life, and they're only down the road. And went, and it was the promotion season, and so kind of got hooked through that. And then, I mean, moving to London, I never thought I could get a sense of community here. I thought I hated it for years, like felt like a really lonely place. And Wimbledon, I now just I can't imagine moving out of this area. Like, this is my community. This is what keeps me here. And that's like, so for me, very personally, it is a community thing through and through. And I would love that more people feel that. And there is another person that might be moving into Tooting or, you know, Earlsfield, that's come from somewhere else and comes along to a game because the stadium's nearby, and they start to feel welcomed in the area as well because of the club.
I'll come back to that in a minute, but I want to talk about something else that's quite prevalent in your manifesto. It's about communication. You talk quite a lot about you know, the members only forum, the pro boards. You know, I think everyone sees your tweets and bits and pieces that you put out. How do you feel you've changed the communication between the Don's Trust board and the Don's Trust and fans, and sort of how have you opened up and maintained those channels?
I would say that, I suppose I'm fairly kind of present on Twitter, I mean, I'm like in a fair few, like I think everybody is, or a lot of people are, in a fair few kind of Wombles WhatsApp chats and things and one of them in particular is probably, I would say, full of a group of people that aren't necessarily like, you know, fan ownership through and through. They're kind of, you know, just want to see football and want to talk about the football and are less concerned about the Don's Trust and Don's Trust matters, which is fine. It's like, that's completely fine. But I would say that I kind of, I mean, fan ownership is something that I stand behind, and I did stand behind when, you know, when it was threatened last year. But I would say that I also kind of bridge a lot of branches between different groups of people within the club, and I'm completely open to listening to other people's opinions and views about what they want. I think that's probably somewhere that we've been hampered in the past couple of years, or even more than that. Like, so say, for example, I take an example of the recent exclusive in The Sun. That happened without kind of sign off through the Don's Trust or anything. And it upset a lot of people, understandably. And I would say that, I don't know, I'm just kind of going off tangent here, but I kind of want to make the point that firstly, a few people have made this point in their like manifestos and in their talks about that we need to clean up our kind of strategy and the governance of the club to make it fit for purpose. At the moment, the way the trust works with the club, it's a blurry lines as to where sign off is and everything like that. And that's kind of where it makes things around the Sun exclusive a bit difficult.
Is that where you call for greater transparency in your manifesto?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when I first got on, I was kind of confused as to where the trust does get involved and doesn't get involved. And so and it took me a while to kind of understand that, but I don't think we've nailed this at all. And there definitely needs to be some kind of transformation of the structure, and we're talking about that at the moment. But transparency, I think, comes in. I mean, a few people have mentioned how we can kind of get minutes up quicker, and they could be a lot more transparent and sharing, you know, a lot more information. And I would say that we can be more transparent if So with the Sun example, we don't, because we've been so absorbed with getting the stadium done, we haven't been able to, well, we're trying with the fan engagement calendar to get more regular, like, you know, asking opinions of the fans and the members, but we haven't been able to sort of like provide the club and the people that are doing the day-to-day operations of the club with a clear direction as to where members, where the red lines fall, because we haven't been able to sort of like, we haven't asked and got a directive from the members to say, is the Sun off bounds or not? And that's what makes the day-to-day operations of the club really difficult, and it also makes the trust's job really difficult, because we are meant to be there to represent the members, but if we don't have the members' views, then it's really hard to say in a meeting with the football club board, no, we're not happy with that. So that's kind of, I lay that out in my manifesto, that's really the next step, and have sort of started the conversations around doing a consultation with members to set out our strategy, our vision, our aims, our ambitions. Now we've got back to plough lane, we're a league club, where do we go next? Where are people's red lines, and how can the club deliver on the agreed sort of visions of the members?
I know we're sort of flying through this. You have one line: we are a responsible employer. What does that mean to you?
It encompasses a lot, and I suppose I found myself surprised that in a fair few board meetings we talk about kind of operational business within the club, HR, you know, London living wage, inclusion, and things like that, making sure that our recruitment practices are like watertight. I think we've got a lot more work to do there. I would love us as a club to be able to sign up to the diversity code that a lot of league clubs have signed up to recently. And we're not there yet. And I want to see us being a lot more, and I push for this a lot in board meetings, that this is kind of what I say, like a frustration of mine is that I can't communicate exactly what we say in board meetings on matters around employment, because that's just not possible to, like, it has to be confidential. But that's really what I stand for a lot of the time, is that we are a fair and responsible employer.
You talk about as well learning from our mistakes and striving to be better. What mistakes have been made over the last year to 2 years, in your opinion?
I suppose a mistake was not understand or not foreseeing and tapping into our fan base earlier, as was demonstrated by the bond. It was just like, you know, it was incredible that happened, and I don't think we saw that as it wasn't seen as a possibility early enough. There was a little bit of a kind of back and forth as to, do we, you know, once you've unlocked that piece of kind of news, so to speak, how does it affect potential, like how we stand externally? And there is a thing around, you know, members and fans are more likely to get involved when things are going wrong. And so I think there's that, I mean, that was the biggest thing that kind of was going wrong, that we might not be able to like remain fan owned, we might not be able to build the stadium. That was huge, and we underestimated the ability for people to like rally around that. I think a big thing for the future, for like the next couple of years, is ensuring that we can refinance the loan, that we can pay back the bond, and honor that commitment that we've already made with the bond in particular.
I think maybe you are the youngest sort of person standing for these elections. As someone who also took an interest in the club at the same time as you, and sort of followed the club at the same time as you, how can you be the conduit between the DTB, the football club, and the next generation of fans? Like, how can you get mate you from down the road and say, listen to this story. This is amazing. This is what happened to me. Aaron, he started going there. How can you do that? Because that's so important. That's going to be so important for the future success and for the future survival of this football club.
Are you talking about the football club or the trust?
The trust, the whole thing. How can you engage with a new breed of fans and make it? I think the candidate before you said sexy. How can you make it sexy?
I mean, we need to, and I'm one of the things that's on my to-do list, whether I get on or not, is to help make our website a lot sexier, because it's clunky and it's old, and it needs to have like up-to-date and relevant information on there more frequently. And so creating a communications working group is probably the next step to enable that, to really free up capacity from my side of things, especially to get us reporting on what we're doing more frequently. And that I'd love to encompass in that. We've got the pro boards, and it was kind of it's a members only forum. It was meant to be a stopgap between WebJam, which wasn't quite working, and a new system which would be integrated with the new website. And it's been probably longer than it should have been, but I'd like to get to a place where we have a new website where members have their own login, and you can buy your tickets and buy your memberships. Well, actually, I say that, where you can log in using your membership number and be sort of like have your own Don's Trust account. A second thing is, and it will happen from next year, is that when you buy your season tickets or match day tickets through the club, at the moment our presence, the Don's Trust presence on the club website, is really quite poor. You will be able to, when you buy your season ticket or any ticket, it will come up like the Don's Trust owns the club. This is how, do you want to be a part of this, have a say in the club, be a part owner? And that will be like front and center when you're buying your match day tickets. That's a really like quick and easy win to make us a lot more sexy, because we're on the website that all the fans are on and do it, like seeing it constantly. And I think as well, it's been mentioned that we have a greater potential at the new stadium to have a much more shiny presence around the ground.
Brilliant stuff, Hannah. Thank you. I'll pass you over to Stuart now for your questions.
Cool, thank you. Got a handful of questions. Hannah, can I just quickly say that FIFA story I've never heard before. I never heard that before. I love it. Such a great story.
I was trying to like train up Tunga. I was like putting him through the paces, and I really wanted to see Tunga. I never saw him, and I don't think it ended well for him. But
he didn't miss much. Anyway, let's get on with my stuff. So, first question is from Dominique Schumer. I think that is. We struggle to get younger fans on board. Can you make fan ownership sexy? That word again. Even Luke used it. And cool. Are you confident about this and doing it?
I think it already is sexy and cool. Like, fan ownership is what makes us unique, and it's what's attracting, the likes of Freddie from the States to get involved. And we have got a fantastic international supporters network out there, and we've got and John Green's done a great job of making our story, he's a great storyteller, and he's really, shone that. I think, like I kind of was just saying, that to make it a lot more visible to the people that are coming to the new ground when we get there will be equally important. Just getting our presence on the website part a bit better will be great. And I think we're getting there as well with being a lot more visible with the monthly meetings and things. It's making us a lot more accessible to a wider audience, and really showing off that we are a group of fans that own our club and making things happen.
Brilliant. Got a couple more questions, snappy ones if we can, not to rush you. Nigel Higgs, you were elected on a slate of Vote for Change 2 years ago. What substantial change has been made since then, and what were your contribution towards that?
I mean, I wasn't behind the Vote for Change kind of initiative. I don't really know what it was like. I wasn't standing to be a necessarily change. I just wanted to stand because I was menacing and had views, and I thought I just wanted to sort of like have a say. But I would say that the fact that we've got a more dynamic board in terms of like we will challenge each other and we will challenge the club is probably one of the biggest changes that I've seen.
Brilliant. And the final one, there are more, but I'll get them on later for you to answer. Connor Daly, to what extent does the current lack of diversity on the Don's Trust board undermine the quality of the oversight function and decision making?
I mean, I think diversity is fundamental for making good decisions. Like it's evidence that having a diverse organisation makes for better and more ideas, more and better decisions. So it probably is, to be really honest, like hampering how great we could be. So we need to do more.
Brilliant. Hannah, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good luck in the forthcoming elections, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks very much.